Eulalie was furious about the Tillman ruling. She begged Julian, who was both an attorney and the mayor of Aiken at the time, to explain how the law could deny a mother her children.
Could you take my children from me?
Well, if the law is on the books, it ought to be enforced. A woman is subject to man.
Eulalie was never one to sit demurely by and wait quietly for the world to change. This was the time to take a bold stand. She promptly sent in her $1 to become a card-carrying member of the South Carolina Equal Suffrage League. Soon, she was the president of the Aiken chapter.
That was the best dollar I ever spent.
And there was practically nothing my Eulalie wouldn't do to gain attention for the cause, much to the delight of her children and much to the chagrin of her bewildered husband.
Are you going to disgrace me again?
Even though Eulalie often made her husband out to be a straight-laced curmudgeon, he was often the man behind the woman more than he admitted. In fact, he helped replace the original moldings that were stolen from me while I was abandoned. Now, I wear elegant French woodwork secured from an old coastal plantation. It was hand-carved by 17th century cabinet makers who used only penknives as tools. So once again, I became the hub in the wheel of a powerful woman's life. The motto for the Eulalie Sally Real Estate Company was,
"We do everything but brush your teeth. Can I help you?"
And women were her favored clients. She drew people to her. Her magnetism emanated from her comfortable charm, her nimble retorts, and her exceptional ability to transform every moment into an exhilarating event. One such person was a writer with whom she had begun a friendship at Winthrop College in 1923. Julia Mood Peterkin was also there, taking a class in short story writing. She'd been writing stories about the intricate lives of the people of the Gullah heritage on her plantation called Lang Syne. She won a Pulitzer Prize in 1929 for her novel, Scarlet Sister Mary. Then there were the winter people, as the locals called them, the ultra-wealthy children of the northern industrial giants who had discovered the charms of Aiken after the Civil War. But it was their passion for their horses and their fondness of the mild winters that drew them back, and back to Aiken. They built their elaborate cottages, complete with billiard rooms and libraries, the mansions which Eulalie sold over and over as each group of yearly Northerners discovered her hometown. Seymour Knox II was among these seasonal visitors. Known to his friends as Shorty because of his small stature, he was a born enthusiast, and his chief interests were polo and modern art. Mrs. Evelyn Walsh McLean was the pampered daughter of a Colorado prospector who owned not only the Washington Post, but also the Hope Diamond. The huge blue diamond had been stolen by a French treasure hunter from a Hindu temple in the 1600s, or so the legend goes. The temple priests pronounced a curse on whomever might possess the missing stone in the future. Mrs. McLean not only owned the jewel, but wore it to virtually every function that she attended, even fashioned a special collar so her dog could wear it, and sent Eulalie scrambling to find all 45 carats of it for her when she misplaced it.
Okay.
I left the house.
All right, Evelyn.
Would you
I
be a
will.
darling and see if you can find it?
Okay.
Yes, just look in all the usual places.
Yes, Evelyn.
It's
Bye.
just bound to show up. Doesn't it always, dear?
Then a man, a very sinister man indeed, set his sights on her for a diabolical and disastrous scheme. His name well fit his persona, Mr. Means. This Gaston Means had been a government man at one time, so when he told Evelyn and Eulalie that he had information about the infant kidnapped from Charles Lindbergh and his wife, it seemed somewhat plausible. For the sum of $100,000, he told them, he would convince the kidnapper to turn the child over to him in Mexico. After the abductor had time to escape, Mr. Means would meet Evelyn there and hand over the Lindbergh baby. But it was all a hoax. The poor child was already dead, and Evelyn McLean had been swindled because it seems her heart was as big as the legend of her blue diamond.
December 7th, 1941.
War came again to my people. And although this time it was fought in faraway lands, the heaviness of its presence seemed to be felt everywhere. Eulalie, along with thousands of other women, saw her son leave home to fight on foreign soil. There was little to do but wait and take what comfort she could from her close friend, Lucy Mercer Rutherford. Mrs. Rutherford relayed the tiny bits of hope she could from an exceptional man who knew, better than anyone else on earth, the true progress of the war.
Darling, so today is D-Day. After Roosevelt's speech last night, I don't believe anything has ever happened that creates as many conflicting emotions. The whole nation seems to be on its knees today. All radio programs have been thrown to the wind, and war news comes in every 5 minutes. If they would only tell me where you are and that you are safe. May God give you the ability to give the greatest aid to this noble cause. Above all, may He carry you through this ordeal by fire and bring you back a better and finer man to a mother who loves you so dearly. Affectionately, Mother.
President Truman revealed that Russia had tested her first atomic bomb.
Then something quite extraordinary happened right after the war ended. In 1950, the federal government asked E.I. DuPont to build and operate a plutonium production plant near the Savannah River to refine materials for nuclear weapons. The people who had lived and farmed around the larger towns of Ellington and Dunbarton would be forced to find other homesteads. But to Eulalie, this was progress. This was a challenge, and this meant that the thousands of incoming construction people would need housing in a hurry.
Shopping centers were built in Augusta, Georgia, and in...
While the newcomers struggled to make Aiken feel like their new home, the locals, along with the winter colony folks, fought to come to terms with the sudden invasion of their lovely little town. Eulalie was not only able to find the new homes quickly, but she was also somehow able to come up with some solutions to the tension that everyone felt with this march of progress.